sheet or their character handout and press edit up at the top. Yeah. You can also make sure that the lighting's always right by when you go into that particular token and set it. You like, when you double click on it, gives you the option
Greetings, everyone. We are about to embark into the abyss. The players will be trying to get out, but will the DM let them? Now's the time to find out. But first, we want to recognize Tabletop Audio and Sick Boy Art for their impressive work and helping out in the stream. Thank you, and thank you to all the players, our DM, and all those viewing. Let's begin.
Hello, and welcome. Let's start by taking a thought here. You're walking around outside, above ground, breathing the fresh air, doing whatever it is you do. And then your world gets turned upside down.
A brawl is surely brewing. And begin!
And then you find yourself captured. Poison running through your veins, your vision quickly diminishing, as the last thing you see are the drow, the evil elves, the dark elves from down below in the Underdark, coming to capture you and take you away. No. You find yourself captured by the drow. You wouldn't wish this fate upon anyone, yet here you are, locked in a dark cave, the cold, heavy weight of metal tight around your throat and your wrists. Other prisoners are trapped in here with you in an underground outpost far from the light of the sun. Your captors include a cruel drow priestess who calls herself Mistress Ilvara of House Mizrim. Over the past several days, you've met her several times, robed in silken garments and flanked by two male drow, one of whom has a mass of scars along his side of his face, his neck. Mistress Elvira likes to impress her will with scourge in hand and remind you that your life belongs to her now. Accept your fate, learn to obey, and you may survive. Her words echo in your memory even as you plot your escape. Now, for some of you, only 3 days have passed since you have first been captured and brought here into this underground prison known as Velkenvelv. Others, close to a week, others still close to a 10-day, and others still approaching a month. You all find yourself trapped and crowded in a very small and confining jail cell, cavern, prison, something. With 10 other prisoners, people looking to escape. This is where our story begins. In the Underdark, trapped in a cave no more than 30 feet deep, 20 feet wide, barred with an iron cage that's preventing you from getting from where you are to the rest of the earth. I think it's appropriate now that we have some introductions. And the introductions come from the form of a Darrow, a small race of people, not much higher than two of the gnomes that are currently trapped in here, with a shock of white hair up top and a dark purple complexion. He seems to be outgoing and not at all afraid to tell you what's what. Not in a commanding or demeaning way, but well, this is where we are, we might as well get used to one another. The gentleman introduces himself as Buppido. Buppido. Well, welcome, fellow scallywags, to Velkenvelv. It's great here, isn't it? And now you've noticed that he does this every time somebody new shows up, and his most recent tirade is for both Travello and Adon, who have just recently come to stay at the luxurious Velkenvelv. let's make introductions so that we know who's who and we can kind of get an idea for who's going where and what's going to happen, okay? My name is Boopido. I don't run the joint. That's the lady over there. Over here, we have Prince Darendelle, and he does this flourish of a bow as he points to this giant, hulking creature that has forearms. His forearms are about the size of our fellow gnomes here. The thing is huge, and you would know that this is a creature called a Quaggoth, usually in some form of employ to the denizens of the Underdark, currently in employ of the drow that are keeping you captured. The Quaggoth turns and looks at you and has this really, dour mug on his face, before only our resident gnome Adon would really understand as he responds in High Elven, "A pleasure to meet you," and does an equally flourishy bow. Not at all what you're expecting, but... Next up, we have Eldith. Say hello, Eldith. And you can see that the gnome that came in with Fetter, that's all she really does. Over here, we have our fellow gambler and, ne'er-do-well, and I really don't like him, but whatever, we're stuck here with him. This is Jim Jar. And you can see Jim Jar is Svirfniblin. He is a deep gnome, so same in height to both Trevello and Adon. However, much darker skin complexion, kind of ashy. Bald up top, and he is flicking a coin up in his hand, flicking it, catching it, flipping it, catching it, flipping it, catching it. And he has this infuriating grin on his face. Like, it would just drive any of you just... It's the kind of face you just want to punch. Moving on, we have our fellow nice guy, Ront. Ront is an orc. Ront doesn't like anybody. Stay away from Ront. And Ront just kind of... at all of you. Moving on, we have Shushar. And you see Shushar has this really unique look to him. Is anybody here trained in nature?
I believe. Let me double check here. No, not yet. That's going to be later levels for me.
Okay. So you're not quite sure what this is. It looks to be a bipedal fish person. He's got two giant eyes on the side of his head with a generic fish mouth. And he stands up, gives you a very courteous bow. I am Shushar. You're awakened.
Stefan, I made an error. I am trained in nature. Just looking in the wrong spot.
Then, why don't you do me a favor and make the first roll of the campaign with nature, please?
Ooh, exciting.
Exciting!
Yeah, Trilvello regards this aquatic-looking fellow.
And knows that this is a Kuatoa. And red flags and alarm bells immediately start going off to you.
I think I lean over to Don and say, Don, we are keeping some very interesting and quite dangerous company. These ones are mad.
You would know that Kuatoa are very superstitious, religious, and quite frankly, dangerous people because they have the unique ability to believe in something so hard that it becomes real. So if you get enough Kuatoa to believe something, it happens.
Oh dear.
However, this Kuatoa seems to
believe us out of prison.
This Kuatoa seems to be rather placative and not hostile at the moment. Moving over, Shusha, thank you. You can sit down now. We have our resident Myconid that Sareth has brought to us. Thank you, Sareth. And Bupido looks over to Sareth, who is the only drow in the cell that seems to be a prisoner, as opposed to one of your prison guards or warden. Sareth is of average height for a drow. He's got white hair that's currently kind of put up in a top knot with a long, thin piece of rock that he chipped from the wall. And he has some real shifty eyes, like kind of going back and forth. Not so much nervous, but somebody that you can see that is constantly taking in his surroundings. Very much somebody that wants to not be here. And then you see who Bupido is pointing at, and you could see that there is this giant, or a mushroom, with legs. The mushroom is maybe 2 feet tall. It has 2, I guess, indentations where eyes would be, but you don't see any eyes. You don't see a mouth, but it kind of gets up and hops and says, "Enlightened, I am Stool. Enlightened, it is a pleasure to meet you." Right, yeah, he does that a lot. He says emotions and then says it and then emotes. I'm liking it, so weird. Also, not a he, not a she, just kind of Stool. I can't, Anyway, and then we have our, the other, Sirfnablin over here. We have, Topsy and Turvey. Or is it Turvey and Topsy? I don't know. I'll let them introduce themselves. And you can see that the pair of these deep gnomes get up at the same time. And you can see that while they don't look identical, they have much of the same characteristics. The same facial structures, the same height, the same hair if one of them had any hair, very quickly receding hairline. And the what looks to be the female says, "I'm Topsy, this is Turvey. We hate it here. Sit back down." So, who do we have in our new collective now? And he kind of looks over at you first, Trivella.
Yeah, so Trillvello, on any other day before being dumped in the Underdark, full of poison and trapped now, would be a sociable, well-dressed man with pince-nez glasses, a gnome in his mid-200s, a family man, a bard by trade. Here in the Underdark, he has been stripped to his underwear and is deeply uncomfortable wearing prisoner's rags. He has had to make dirt in a bucket in a room with 10 other people. That's been a harrowing experience for him. So he's
13 other people.
Say again?
13 other people.
13 other people. So that has been What?
Does that change how you feel about it?
Yeah, it makes it much worse. I could deal with 10. You know, that the extra 3 broke my spirit. So Trillvello is very, very upset right now. And he introduces himself. He's right. So I'm Trillvello from Potereth, bard. I suppose it's a pleasure to meet you all, given the circumstances.
And Bupido goes, "Hi, Trillvello," and like you get a half-hearted "Hi, Trillvello" from the rest of the people back there. You get that he's trying to fill the role of like the AA meeting director, and it's kind of sort of working.
Yeah.
So, well, it's nice to meet you, Trillvello. It really is unfortunate that you're here, but here we are. And he kind of looks off and gives a very rude gesture in the general direction of where the other prison guards are. And then he turns next to one of our resident humans. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You brought Eldith to us, and why don't you tell us about yourself? And he turns to you, Fetter.
So Fetter would be sitting on the ground, and he has not moved this entire time. He kind of just waves up a hand at everyone else and goes, "Well, you can call me Fetter. I do not believe that I brought Eldith with me. Really, I came with her more than anything else. A devotee of Ilmater, and I'm sure he has plans for us here all the same." And we'll leave it at that.
Right, okay. Hi, Fetter.
Hello, Feta.
All right, and now, let's go to the other Humie. Hello. What's your name? And he turns to you, Trent.
I just look at everybody, stare a little bit at the fungus living thing, look for the driest spot in the floor, walk there, and just lay down.
Great. Hi. He's panicking because he doesn't know what to say. Human.
Listen, I don't want to ruin your vibe or whatever you have in here, but I having the worst hangover ever. I see things that I never seen before, and that's a huge statement coming from me, trust me. So just leave me at peace. I'm gonna rest here, and when I feel like it, I will tell you whatever you want to know. But now I don't feel like it. Fair enough. Thank you for your time. Set up.
Hi, hangover.
Hello, hangover.
And fellow short person, hello.
Hi. Adon is a bit of an opposite from Travello. He's by nature lives on his own and is rather scruffy in his little hut in the woods. The fight and the trip down here have not helped with any of that, and he is looking pretty ragged and has done nothing for his mood. He's furious at himself for getting caught in that situation and for these imbeciles for capturing him and whatever idiotic plans they're cooking up. So he's short on temper, stripped down, a wizard, but has focused more on the theoretical than the practical up till now, and so is quite out of his element at the moment. Adon, hi. I think I'll hate it here too.
Right. Hi, Adon.
Hello, Adon.
So, this is life in Valkenvalve. From what I hear, it's only gonna get worse. There should be something to take us to Sareth, what was the place you called it? And Sareth just kind of looks up. Enzo Baranzan. Yeah, that place. Apparently we're gonna be sold as slaves, and we're gonna live like not kings. So, that's what we have in store for us. I'm so excited. Oh, man.
Excited is an interesting adjective to describe your mood. Have you been a slave before, Bopido?
No. I just, there's no point in pouting over something you can't really change. So, here we
That
are.
sort of attitude isn't going to lead us anywhere. I'm sure there will be opportunity. There must be opportunities to escape. Travel gets a little agitated at this.
Listen, Trivello, listen, we don't say the E word here. That's not a thing that we say here. And he kind of like looks really nervously, and it's at that point that one of the higher ranking drow comes by. And this dude looks like he throws around his weight, and he wants everyone to know it. Does the cop walk, like, you know, hands on the belt, just like real sheriff walk.
Leading with the
and
pelvis,
he
yeah.
comes up to the cage, the bars, and just bangs on them a couple times. And like they don't rattle; they rattle just enough to make a noise, but not to indicate that they're weak or anything. Just to be annoying. Hey, all you guys, you lot, chore time. Oh, great, says Boopido. All right, so all right, I want the orc. I want, and he takes out a book, and it looks like he's trying a little too hard to read. I want the orc, the dwarf, the redhead, mushroom, girl twin, and drunk. You're group A. Let's see. Fish, trader, not elf, talkative one, and guy who doesn't like to poop. You're group B. Let's see. We got gambler, boy twin, hermit, and guy who doesn't like to walk. You're group C. And the cage, he opens the cage, and there is a contingent of guards, 5 on each side, that are ready to take you to where you need to go. So why don't we take you over to what the layout of this prison looks like? So, this is where all of you currently are right now. Everyone is in the dark, so I've been told. How do we fix this?
No, I can see within the cage here.
Okay. All right. So, can they see?
I cannot.
Hold dark for me.
Please hold. Technical difficulties.
Okay.
Please stand by. Oh, we're fixing.
Hi. Where's... Hello, everybody.
Tech guy Jesse, everyone.
Roll 20 tech person. Wanna make sure this.
It's the face of God.
Oh,
The
this
face
is
of
fine.
God.
So this character is
That would be fine.
My eyes are burning.
unfettered.
Unfettered.
There we are.
Yeah, we could just get rid of those and drag and drop because
I
we.
need to just.
That would be a done. Mm-hmm.
That one.
I see.
'Tis quite the handsome lot of compatriots we found ourselves with.
Okay. So, all right. So now you should be able to do a thing.
It's cozy in here.
Okay. All right. So, all right. I wanted to give more of a layout of what the prison looks
A
like.
brawl is surely brewing. And begin!
Oh, you have to. That's it.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
Is that...
Wait, what? Let me see. Oh, all right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then he'll be able to see as the others move. Got it.
Drago's the only one who can't see.
But he should have a much bigger dark vision.
There's a door.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're going to move you over here for now. That's odd. Whatever. We're going to keep going.
That is that low.
That's weird. Okay.
All of those are.
Interesting. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna keep going. So that's the cage you're in now. So the okay, so the drow that opened the cage, the Mr. Pompous, you would know him as Shore, Shoor. And he seems to be by Mistress Ilvara's side quite often. You're not sure if a consort, an advisor, a little lost puppy dog. You're not sure, but he's almost always attached at the hip. It's kind of weird that she's not here right now. So the three groups go off into different directions to do different things. So we're going to start with Group A with Mr. Trent. So we are going to... yeah, you know what? We're going to theory mind this. That's fine. So for the next 8 hours, all of you are put to hard labor. And by that, I mean anything that the drow want done, you do. You want clean the floors, you clean the floors, you sweep the walls, you coil rope that they want coiled. They don't like it that way, they whip you until you do it again right. It's fairly uncomfortable. So Trent, you are in the first group with the Orc Ront, the Dwarf Eldith, the Myconid Stool, the female twin, Topsy, and yourself. So is there any kind of interaction that you want to do with any of those four other people that I mentioned?
To ask before I do anything, do I see anything?
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna get you some kind of visual just so that you can see what's going on here. Okay. All right. So you should be able to see at least a little bit now, right?
Let's see. Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So we're gonna do this. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. There's Ront. Okay. All right. So during your chores, you are in the process of so you are in the process of bringing water jugs that you have filled from this waterfall that kind of bisects this prison area. So just past to the left of the prison cell where you came out of, there is this rushing waterfall, and the sound is pervasive throughout the entire cavern. In fact, the sound is pretty oppressive. It's only when you're in the slave pen that you can't hear it all that well, and it's surprising how well insulated that cave is. But now that you're out, it's really quite obvious how loud this actually is. So as you have all been ordered to fill these water jugs and bring them over to the troop barracks, you're just currently marching with each of you are holding a barrel, and Stool kind of is balancing one on his head. Ront is looks like begrudgingly carrying his, and he just kind of shoves it at Eldith the dwarf so he doesn't have to carry it. And then you are carrying yours.
Okay, for now, I will just look around to see what I'm going to, back and forward.
Okay. Then why don't you make me a perception check? Yeah, just make me a perception check. There is light here. There isn't a lot of light. There are one or two torches sporadically put out this cavern, and you think it's just so that prisoners like yourself can see where they're going because they don't want their property to fall and die. Excuse me.
Okay, I'm trying, but you have to help me here a little bit because I can open my page.
I'm sorry?
I can't open my page. I don't have the numbers.
You can't open your page? Like
No.
your character sheet?
Mm-hmm.
Should have access to it. Oh. Oh. You should be able to. You can't open the Trent character sheet? Here, why is that? Alright.
I can see everyone but mine.
Oh. So your token moved, so here, why not?
You hold shift and,
Yeah, I
and
just
then
did
like
that.
hang location.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'm working from my iPad. I don't have a sheet button.
Oh, I see. Okay. Alright.
Just give me the bonus and I roll it.
Alright, so what I could do that for you then.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Plus whatever. Okay. Let's see what your perception is. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Your perception is that. Okay. All right. So you don't have a modifier, so it's just a straight roll. So 4. So it's kind of hard to get a glimpse around because the guards are pretty adamant about making sure that you don't try anything. So anytime you kind of start to look around to try to get your surroundings, one of them just kind of bashes you on the back of the head. Hey, keep moving forward, or some approximation of it. And it's weird. You don't understand the language that he's speaking from a verbal standpoint, but it just kind of makes sense in your head, which is weird. Because you don't speak Undercommon or Elven, whichever one that they're speaking, and yet you understood what they said. That's weird. And you keep going, and you could see that Ront is the orc. He's not having any of this. It looks like he really doesn't want to be here, and he doesn't feel he doesn't really grasp the gravity of the situation here, so he's just kind of taking it easy. He's not really caring. He shoves his chore onto Eldith and then just keeps going. He doesn't care. He doesn't carry anything. He doesn't care. Excuse me.
Does he look aggravated by any chance?
Oh yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah, and like all throughout the day, he's just constantly like pushing people around and bullying them, and like the guards see this and they don't really care. They kind of snicker back and forth at each other as they see this happen.
Okay, so God's help me. So this is what I'm gonna do.
All right.
I'm gonna try to look around. When a guard push me, like to keep me in place,
Huh?
I will throw all my water into the orc.
Okay. Now, are you trying to make this look like an accident and you tripped, or are you like making it clear that you are throwing this water at him?
No, I'm just like that's why I love the camera.
Oh, I see. So when the guard pushes you, it's like,
Someone pushes me,
oops.
so I go like,
Okay. All right. So roll a d20 and add.
no worries, you roll it. I trust in you 100%.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're gonna have you make a deception check here, which is charisma based. This is gonna be great. Okay. Yeehaw. Well, I'm very glad that you got the first one. So, as the guard pushes you, you trip, and you just kind of, oh no, I'm so sorry. and all the water goes splashing all over Rond. And everyone just kind of stops in this tense situation, and everyone's looking around. The guard is looking at you, and he starts to get furious, and then kind of realizes that it's his fault that this happened. So he looks back and forth. One of the guards bashes him on the head. He bashes you on the head. One of the other guards bashes the orc on the head, and they start dragging the orc back with the empty water barrel. And go fill it up again. So now you're waiting on this other orc to go fill this up, and you hear from down by your feet as this kind of appendage that has come out of stool just kind of tugs on your underclothes that you're wearing. Curious. Are you a good person?
No.
Satisfied. Okay. And then he just keeps on
Can you
walking
move?
with his water barrel that he's bouncing. While you are finishing your water, do you have something else?
No, I'm letting you finish the description.
All right. So while you're continuing your water excursion, we're gonna go to Group B here. So Travello, you are currently with Shushar the Awakened, Sareth, Prince Darendel, your gracious host Bupido, and yourself. And now, you have been tasked with, the very important task of rearranging all the pillows in Mistresses Ilvara's personal quarters. Now, her personal quarters are very uniquely located. As you exit the slave pen, you walk across this rickety rope bridge along with the rest of your contingent and some of the guards that are making you walk this way. And you enter this gigantic hollowed-out stalactite. And as you go in, there's this big room. Thank you. Can't forget to hydrate. Forget to drink. And as you walk in, it's really rather impressive. There's this gigantic statue of this spider. And for eyes, it has these 8, looks like very shiny, maybe onyx gems in place of its eyes. And it looks like a place of worship or reverence. And you are led down a set of stairs to a personal quarter, and some of your contingent is left there to kind of make the bed and clean up. And then you are led all the way down to the bottom room. There are 3 rooms in this stalactite. And there you see this very lavish room. Let me see if I can get you a description. Yeah, here we go. So you can see inside the walls are hung with a black mesh, resembling very artfully what looks to be a spider's web. And they extend all from a central spot on the ceiling and kind of go out and then drape down. It's very elegant, very regal. There is a single large bed that it looks to be kind of like ye olde pull-out couch, is the best way I could describe it. Kind of like a divan bed almost. And there are pillows everywhere, and they're sporadically thrown. It looks like somebody had a pillow fight or had fun in here. And as you look around, things start to click. Why don't you make me an insight check, please?
Sure. My best. 12.
12. Okay. It wasn't very high. the DC wasn't very high. It looks as though somebody or somebodies have been using this room for more than just sleeping. And you can probably gather, based on the information that you have gained from fellow prisoners and just by looking around, that those two people are probably Ilvara and Shore. So as you are cleaning up these pillows, let's see, you are here. So Prince Darendel is there with you, and he is being very dainty and very particular about the way he picks things up and puts them down. It's like he's being very careful about where things go. It looks like he's got kind of a knack for feng shui, almost.
I noticed his bow before, and let me ask you, Stefan.
Yeah.
So you said High Elven. I know Elven.
Yeah. So
does that give me any insight about what he has been talking about or how he speaks?
So the difference between Elven and High Elven would kind of be like me talking to you, me having a conversation with you right now, as opposed to me having a very highbrow, well-spoken, using all the vernacular of the English lexicon at my disposal.
Okay.
That's how he speaks.
Gotcha.
And he kind of acts the same way too. Like when he's looking around this room, it's almost as if he's in a place of reverence. Like you can almost see longing in his eyes as he's in here. Would you like to interact with him?
Absolutely. And it's just the two of us.
It's just the two of you. So, I mean, there are guards here, but and I misspoke. There aren't stairs. There are ladders on here.
Okay.
So there is a guard above you. There are two guards above the room because you can't really go anywhere. You're at the bottom.
Sure. Yeah, I think I never stop moving pillows around because
Sure.
I'm terrified of being whipped.
Sure.
But as I do, I kind of, in my common Elven, that's two different languages, but my,
No, I understand what you're saying. You're non-urbane Elven.
My layman's Elven, yeah. I kind of say relatively quietly to him, because these are Drow, I'm sure they know Elven. I say to him, Mr. Darendel, was it? Pardon me, but I've never before seen a Quaggoth, full stop, but then also one with such noble-born tendencies.
And he stops and then remembers what he's doing and keeps going. And as he's rearranging pillows, "It's because I am not a Quaggoth," he says in the Elven that you're accustomed to. "I have had the unfortunate luck of being polymorphed into this terrible beast that you see before you. My name is Prince Darendel, and I am an Elven prince from the kingdom of Nelrindinvane, in the high forest of Faerun."
Can I do like a history check if I've heard of this kingdom?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Cool. All right. Critical success, baby. Big 25.
That's strange because you know your history pretty down pat. You have spent a good 100 years just studying the surrounding area and commerce of different towns and where things go and different cultures and where they reside and what kind of towns they build and what kind of cities and domiciles they craft and live in, and you have never heard of Nelrindinvane or the kingdom thereof.
I've also never been to the Underdark, so this could be something totally that I've never heard of.
However, he did say he was in the High Forest, which is in Faerun. It's in the surface world.
So that's a thing I would know.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing you would know.
Okay.
You would know that the High Forest is about halfway between Waterdeep and Neverwinter, and a little to the east.
To the north. All right. I'm not gonna. I think I'll just say, interesting, fascinating. I've never heard of Nelrindin Vale. Nelrindin Vale? Which one was it?
Nelrindin Vale. I'll type it out for you.
But this is such a terrible thing that has befallen you. Is this what is to blame for your capture? Are you a political prisoner?
Say one more time, I'm sorry?
I was asking, are you a political prisoner? Is this why you have been captured?
I think that may be very well the case. I had quite the political standing in my kingdom, and yet I find myself here at the hands of a nefarious wizard that has turned me into this hulking beast and rips the pillow apart. Oh, dear. I find myself succumbing further and further into the bestial nature of this terrible thing. And he's looking for a place to put the pillow.
Places the two
Tucks it
away. I begin picking up feathers or silk or whatever.
Thank you. And he gives you a flourishing bow.
I return the bow and I say, well, as unfortunate as your circumstance may be, perhaps your newfound strength could aid us in fleeing. And I know I'm not supposed to use the E word, but absconding from this place.
I do believe so. And then he stops. I do believe so. And like you can tell that he's trying to maintain this highbrow voice, and just that little crack lets you know that he's got a deep voice and he's trying very hard not to use it.
Okay.
I will do whatever it is in my power to make sure that we get out of here. This is no place for royalty, let alone the rest of us.
Indeed. Some things must be done. The wise wait for their moment, but they never let it pass. Remember this. There will be opportunities, and I'm glad to have you in my corner.
Indeed.
Darren.
So we're gonna pause there, and now we're gonna go to Group C. We have, along with Adon and Fetter, we have Jimjar and Turvey, the male Deep Gnome twin. And you have been currently assigned in the mess hall, and under the supervision of what looks to be the chef Drow, you are to be crafting the meals for the rest of the guards, not the prisoners. And it has been made very clear to you that if any food is stolen, your food privileges will be removed for the week. So as you are putting together this kind of mushroom salad, all different kinds of mushrooms, big mushrooms, little mushrooms, purple mushrooms, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, all different kinds of different underdark fungus to be able to eat, along with, and smells so good, a cask of wine in the corner of this mess hall. And it's less of a mess hall and just kind of like a repurposed cavern. It's not much bigger than maybe twice the size of the pen that you're all held in. There are two tables, one of which is used for food preparation. Fetter, you have been placed at this table because it has been noted that you are unable to stand easily. And it has been your job to, under heavy supervision, use the knife to cut the mushrooms. And they can see that you're not very good at holding the knife, which is why they placed you there. And you can see them constantly kind of poking fun and whispering to one another, like, yeah, look at this idiot. And again,
In response, Fetter is, with even a smile on his face, slowly cutting through everything he's given.
Now, the guards seem to be at the other end of the cavern, enjoying a meal and just kind of giving you dirty and like haha glances. Now, the others are also in food preparation / taking food to the rest of the guards and drow as they come in here to receive their food. Turvey turns to you, Adon. You came in here recently, right?
Yeah, I did.
I studied stars when we had a chance to poke our heads up at the surface. You didn't happen to see where the moon was when you came down, did you?
Do I need to roll for that? Do I just
Nature.
No,
Roll me nature.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you didn't really get a chance to look. It wasn't really high on your priority list.
Up, I think.
What'd you say?
Up, I think.
Okay. And like you could see, he's starting to do like calculations in his head. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Does that make a difference?
Yes. No. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim Jar would come up to you, Fetter. Hey, I'll bet you 5 gold that you can't cut all these mushrooms in 2 minutes.
You are probably right, little man.
Okay.
Sorry, was I supposed to take that bet?
No, it's okay. It's okay. We'll find something else. Don't worry. I'll find something else. Yeah. And he looks around for something, like anything else to bring up in conversation with you. Like he's looking around like a madman, just he looks like an over-caffeinated hamster. Like that's how he's acting.
I guess while he's doing that, I'll say, well then, how did you end up in this lovely abode we find ourselves in?
Well, so let me paint you a word picture. So here I am, minding my own business, walking out from Blingdenstone, you know, how you do, and all of a sudden, I find myself really sleepy. And I say, no, that can't possibly be a thing. I just woke up from a nap. And I keep going, and then, I'm really itchy all of a sudden. Like, no, that can't be a thing. I just had my fleas removed. So I keep walking, and then I fall down, and then I see that there's this little feather thing sticking out of my butt. And I was like, it can't be right. And then the guy with all the scars on the side of his face, he comes up to me, and he says, in this big broody voice, your life is now forfeit. And then I says to him, I bet you. And then I look in my purse, and then there's nothing there. And then I fell down. And then I woke up here. And then my purse was gone. And then he takes out 5 coins from, you don't know where he got 5 coins from. But then I found them back, and then he puts them away, and it's like, he's acting like a magician with like an insane sleight of hand. Like, it's just, they're there, they're gone. Yeah, so, you know, I'm here, but am I really here? I don't think so. How'd you get here?
Well, the dwarf woman asked me for aid, and I suppose I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, for they attacked her and I tried to help her.
I see.
Yes.
Why don't you move? Your legs not work?
They work to a degree. My whole body does not work particularly well, I'm afraid.
Oh, what are you, sick? And he kind of backs away. Are you contagious?
Contagious, no. Sick of a sort. Have you heard of lock joint?
Oh, yeah, real nasty. Usually gets contracted down here. You got it? A human?
That's ever since I can remember, I'm afraid.
That sucks.
It's well enough. I get by.
And then he just turns around and walks away.
The moon, would it help us?
I'm sorry?
The moon, would it, I'm asking
Oh, okay.
Turvey, the moon, would it help us? It was in a certain way?
Maybe? I don't know. Topsy would know more. I mean, she's more the moon person than me. I just like look at the stars that are around the moon, and I can kind of see where they are and what they're doing. And like you could see that like when he's speaking, his eyes are constantly looking up, which is a sure sign that he's making everything that he's saying up.
All right. I'd like to keep on lookout as I'm preparing the food for anything that too much of it might have an ill effect on the guards.
That too much of any one mushroom would have on
Yeah.
the guard. Okay,
Maybe it might make them sleepy or sick.
Make me a nature check. Okay. All right. So let's see. Get to the. Aha, here we go. So there is one kind of mushroom that's in this menagerie that you see Feder currently chopping up. And it's got this kind of pale orange white color to it, and you would know this to be fire lichen. And it doesn't grant like fire breathing abilities or anything like that, but think of it like in very small doses, like a flake of it is Tabasco sauce, a couple flakes are jalapeno, a handful is a habanero, and a lot more is like a naga jalokia.
And how much is there?
There are a couple of bowls worth, like maybe like a regular size like soup bowl, like a small soup bowl worth, and there are 3 bowls worth of it.
Okay.
And now there are guards in here that are watching Feder chop them up, but they're not overly concerned with paying attention to him specifically. They're just kind of glancing over every once in a while. And you're just kind of cleaning the table, and they had you coil a rope clockwise, then counterclockwise, then clockwise again, and then laughed as you were trying to figure that out.
All right. Putting too much of that in their food doesn't seem like it would. They'd notice right away. It's not going to have any lasting effects together.
Yeah. So, other than that, there isn't a lot that you can really make use of.
Yeah.
You know what? Roll me a d6.
Okay.
Fun. Okay. So, there is one mushroom in particular that kind of grabs your attention that you feel as though shouldn't really belong here, but yet here it is. It's called Nilhogg's nose. And it's this tiny mushroom, and it kind of got thrown in with the rest. You think by accident, because there's no reason that it should be here. And you know that while it has known effects for granting the imbiber increased abilities to perceive things, both sight and hearing. However, a lesser known side effect of these is that any creature that ingests this cannot help but verbally dictate everything that they are thinking.
Okay.
So that found its way on the table. Do with that as you will. So, as you are thinking about that, Trent, your stint with filling the water and then taking it to wherever it needs to go has completed. You did notice that there is a crank with a crank that's attached to a winch that is attached in turn to what looks like this cage that rises up on this pretty thick set of chains. And that leads down to the base floor of this cavern. And it's only now that you realize, oh wow, I can't see the bottom. So that is good to note. Trilvello, as you are finishing with your conversation with Prince Darendel and making your way back up, you notice that the rest of the troop is waiting for you in this shrine area, and as you are leaving, you see that one of the other higher echelon drow is there, and she is praying, and you would know this person as Asha, or Asha, A-S-H-A. And she's kind of the understudy of Ilvara. Not so much tagging along like a puppy dog, but kind of trying to learn from everything that she does. Like Ilvara will whip a prisoner, and she'll kind of like do the same hand motion without a whip. Kind of like, okay, that's how you do it, kind of thing. And there she is, just praying to this spider statue. While you're there, make me a perception check.
Perception check. Talking about 9.
Okay. While you can see with your dark vision, there's no light in here, so everything is in shades of gray. And there are so many things that blend in with the wall and the stone because it's all the same type of stone that you can't tell what's part of the stone and what's decor and what's just something else in general. So you could have swore that you saw something move, but maybe it just might have been part of the stone. Who knows?
Let me ask you, Seven, how much, as a matter of course, would I know about the drow, their religion, their like hierarchy? Because like I, as a person playing the game, knows that it's like a matriarchal society, but like,
sure,
is that
yeah, I got you.
that's common knowledge?
You would know the common knowledge things of the drow are part of a matriarchal society, and they worship the Spider Queen Lolth. But that's really it. You don't know how drow operate. You don't know why their eyes are red. You don't know.
They're sort of known for secrecy,
right?
So as a matter of that, like probably not a lot known.
So basically, anything that you've read in any of the Drist novels don't apply because you don't know it.
Fair enough.
Because I think that's where you're getting with this.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. eventually you are all led back to the cell, unless anybody would like to do anything else with the prisoners that you are with.
I did want to. So I'm very curious about this Seraph prisoner who's in my crew, who was in my group.
Right, and you notice that he was not allowed to go below the shrine.
Sure. Okay. I don't know if I want to talk to him directly or try and get some info from Bopido, who seems more, talkative and gossipy.
Sure.
I think that's the angle that I would go, because I do not trust Sarah. Like, the drow are so sneaky. They could be in here just like as a plant to like report on us if we try and escape. So I think I would try and just like catch Bopido like at some point while we're still separate and just be like, Bopido, you are a sort of a personable chap. Know a little bit about who's in the cell with us. What was all that about Sareth being a traitor?
From what I heard, he's not really a talkative man, but the guards tend to gossip if you know how to kind of grease the wheels a little bit. From what I hear, he's a traitor. He killed somebody in cold blood, one of his own. That's why he's in here. He will deny it as long as the Underdark is dark, until the next day comes, and then he'll say, yeah, I did it. Oh my God, what am I doing? And then he kind of flip-flops back and forth. I don't think he knows what happened. He seems a little, he's got like, a couple of nails loose.
Shouldn't hold that against the man. Life is troubling, and being accused of murder is a challenging prospect, especially if you're confused on whether you did it. Thank you, Bopido. You're quite a intelligent fellow, very sociable.
Well, one does what one can in order to not go nuts here in the Underdark.
well, I suppose that I'll take that to heart and do as you say.
So something else that you should probably know, seeing as I saw that you had a couple of implements taken away from you when you first had your sorry-ass dragon here. So there is no magic inside the slave pen. Like at all. I had
noticed that. Yes.
So, however, and he kind of looks back and forth, it's only in the slave pen I've noticed. Because I've seen Ilvara do some magic-y stuff. I've seen Shore with his wand of glue or whatever it is that he uses. Whenever somebody tries to get out, there's this other poor sap. He didn't do too hot. They shot it. A big glob of something came, got his legs, slammed him down, and he couldn't move for a week. They just kind of left him there.
Yeah. Dreadful. Truly.
It's not great.
So it's not our manacles or our chains that prohibit the magic? It's just the cell itself?
No, it's not that at all. I thought it was too, but it's not. There's some kind of field or something, I don't know.
Well, Bopido, I will say you seem pretty resigned to a lifetime of slavery, but your knowledge of what goes on here in Velkenvelv is quite helpful to the E word.
You could say that, yes.
I did. I just said it.
All right then.
That's all I could
talk
about.
So eventually, you would all find yourselves back in the cell, and it is after this that you hear the very prominent sound of heels clicking on stone, and they're very deliberate. Click, 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 step, step, step. And like the whole cavern kind of goes silent. And the warden of Velkenvelv, Mistress Ilvara herself, comes in front of the bars. Well, I see you all have done your chores admirably today. This is good. This is good. You learn your place. Know where you are and you will survive. That's right. I say this every day to you, and eventually you will learn it. Never forget, you are cattle. You belong to us now. You are slaves and nothing more. But admirable work doing your jobs today, all of you, my wonderful pets. You have earned your meal today. She snaps her fingers, and the other higher-ranking drow, the one with the massive scars on his face, carries these two trays, which you've become accustomed to the drow bringing. Not necessarily this guy, but this time it happens to be him carrying these two trays. Each one has this small bowl of this thin mushroom broth that you're served every day. And he passes through the bars one at a time until there are 14 of them for the 14 of you in the slave pen. And he gives each of you this very quick glance, and not just the four of you, but everyone in this cell. This glance of, you're not sure. It isn't malicious. It isn't harsh or harmful or anything like that. It's something else, something that you're not used to seeing with a drow. Bleeding, maybe? Maybe it's a knowing look. Whatever it was there and gone. As Ilvara turns to the scarred gentleman. Dolan, you do your work very well. Be gone with you. I'm done with you placing. Come, Shaw, let us go. And she grabs the Copwalk drow by the arm, and they go back towards the stalactite, which houses the shrine and subsequently her chambers. Well, best not start to wait. And Bupido grabs his bowl and down the hatch it goes. Listen, if you're not going to eat them, I'll be happy to, take your share.
I'll eat it.
Yeah, Trilvello definitely eats it, but he gives a sidelong glance to Stool.
Stool kind of shuffles around and looks you up and down. Curiosity, can I help you?
No, I was just going to eat my food, but I thought it a little bit ghoulish to do in front of you.
Curiosity, what do you mean?
Well, isn't this like? It would be like if I were to eat an owl or a Svifneblin or something.
Curiosity. I don't know what you are talking about.
Trilvello just kind of like turns and just snips at his.
Yeah. Stool kind of waddles up next to you and just kind of plants itself. Get it? Plants itself. Next to you.
Because it's made of mushrooms. The soup?
understanding. Oh, is this what you humans refer to as cannibalism?
No, not in my case, no. But if you were to indulge in this, what does a myconid eat? I suppose I'm unfamiliar with what a fungal body does when it gains sentience.
It responds by taking its foot, putting it in the bowl, and well, not yours. It's
oh, okay. No, wait, that was mine.
Yeah.
Oh, so you recycle essentially. I suppose different strokes for different folks.
Excited. Yes.
Oh, perturbed. Oh my!
And it kind of shakes, and you could see, and it's only because it's kind of making a show of doing it that you're able to see this at all. That these tiny little spores are coming out of him, and he shakes and shakes and shakes and shakes and shakes, and all these spores are coming out of him, and it's a little disconcerting now because there are a lot of spores everywhere, and you can't help but breathe them in. And like all of you are doing this now, but it's not making you choke or anything like that, and you don't feel anything harmful at all. And it's at this point that when yeah, it would be Jim Jar, who is talking to where is he? He's talking to Bupido in some language that none of you really understand, and all of a sudden you can understand what their conversation is. And it's like mundane things like, what do you think the wall is made out of? But as far as you know, none of you speak Undercommon.
Yeah, we're able to like hear that they're still speaking a different language, but we comprehend it. That's bizarre.
Yeah, and Trent, this is slightly less new to you because this happened to you during your prison stint, but now you're starting to get a sense of why that is.
Okay, first and foremost, do I see something?
Make a perception check for me, or I'll make a perception check for you. Trent.
Also, is this something that I've noticed since I've been here the longest, or is this new to me too?
This is kind of new to you. This hasn't really happened before. So yeah, you would definitely notice that that stool is doing something. Like he's shaking. You can see some spores coming out, and it's like he's jumping up and down, or it's jumping up and down, like it's really excited.
Okay, so I want to grab my plate first.
Okay.
Try to localize the orc that I threw the water before.
Okay.
And I'm gonna apologize to him and say, hey, listen, don't move. I will give you the plate. It's still there. So I grab my plate. His plate. I chug mine. I work towards him. But since I'm walking, I want to pay attention at that character that you mentioned before, Stool.
Okay.
And the reaction that the ogre is having when he's doing that.
So you're walking past what, the orc?
No, I'm walking from the door with the food.
Okay.
To the ogre.
It's an orc, not an ogre.
Orc, sorry. Watching carefully what Stool is doing, but I want to know the reaction because the orc and the others have been here longer than I am.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that's that. Get everyone back in here so that we can get some semblance of any idea of what is going on. There are two of him. Strange.
Good question. Did everyone leave on work duty?
I'm sorry?
Did everyone leave on work duty?
Yeah, so the slave pen was empty. There were some people that went back to like clean it out and to work on chamber pot duty.
Okay.
But everyone goes to work at the same time.
Yep. Okay.
So Trent, as you're walking from the cage to wherever it is you're walking inside the cavern, the orc Ronth just kind of looks at you but doesn't make any sort of moves or anything, but he's definitely giving you a dirty look. His clothing is still a little damp.
Okay. So I'm just gonna give him the plate and say, listen, what's the guard? Wasn't my fault. Was the guard. But let me ask you something. Is this new? Pointing a stool.
I can understand you. Yes. And takes the plate.
Okay. So I just look. I walk backwards. But I try to do this in his plate while he drink it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he, as you back up and he starts drinking, right in his face, and he goes and tackles you. So let's. So this is going to be a grapple. So I want you to make me either an athletics or an acrobatics check. Could you do that for me? For Trent. So this is going to be... okay. Yeah. Or acrobatics, whichever is higher. Yeah, okay. So he goes, but you're expecting this. So he goes to try and tackle you, and you just grab him by the arm and swing him around and send him going flying back into the wall. Not doing any damage, but showing him, okay, listen, no. Look at me. I'm the captain now. like one of those situations.
I don't want to fight you. Let's have this clear. I just want answers. I know you're dumb. I know you're ugly, and now I know you're slow.
And
so is this new?
And you could see that with you saying this, on top of you very handily repelling his grapple, that like he's back down. Like you can tell that even his body language is saying, "Okay, I'm done. Stay away from you." Like you can get the sense that this is the type of bully that bullies only until somebody else says, "Hey, stop bullying."
So I just want to. Now that I see this, I'm surprised. I was expecting something more. Now I want to look at the guard's reaction, if any.
So you could see that there is a guard tower directly across from where the slave pen is, and that has direct line of sight. And the guards really aren't paying all that much attention. Like, you could see that they were interested when they heard the scuffle, but since it very quickly ended, they're like, whatever. And they go back to just kind of periodically glancing over.
Okay, it's okay if I scan with my eyes the Adam character, because I don't know them. I just met them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to, barely, like, is he smart enough? Like, he's smarter than me? That's all I want to, like.
And who are you inquiring about?
Adam.
Adon? Me?
Adam,
yes.
Adon?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So, like a quick glance. Well, Adon, what does he say?
I'm taking stock of the people in the room, looking at the door, trying to figure out why I can't feel any magic in here.
Okay.
Do you mention that out loud, or you just?
No, I'm just looking everywhere.
Okay, so Trent will ask Adam, Have you noticed that every time I mess here, no one does nothing?
I mean, they've had the crap beaten out of them for a while now. I can't imagine it's very easy to, keep your spirits up.
No, I know I'm not explaining myself. I'm not pretty smart like you are. But here's the thing. In all my scaffolds before, if this happened, by now, old guards will be here. No one is here. And we went out, I just throw a bucket of water on that guy. Nothing happened.
All right.
Isn't that suspicious? Like, they're too late down to be guards.
Yeah, that seems a little weird.
Oh, I thought you were smart.
You're welcome, sorry.
I know I don't know how to talk properly, bro. It's like...
No, it's a good point. I see what you're saying. I don't know if we have enough information to really say why they're acting the way they are yet. We could probe the situation further, try to create more disruptions, and see if we can find a limit to their patience.
Trovella will pipe up at this point. For what it's worth, the minute violence started, he ducked behind Prince Darendel, putting himself between putting the quaggas between him and any fight. Once they start talking about like intelligence and strategy and stuff, I'll like poke my head out from behind Prince Darendel and say, why don't we inquire as to how normal this is? Mr. Sareth, you are a drow. You are a drow. Have you ever worked in the prison systems? Is this typical of how guards keep their prisoners?
And
you're making this complicated. I just thought, whatever that thing is, I don't even remember. I'm too hangover to remember. No one is here. That guy is shaking. He's sending some sport out to space or whatever. No one is doing anything. And there's too many smart people here. I'm the only dumb. Right?
Hey, say you fought him, then what? There's one less body in the cell? They don't seem to really care.
Do your dancing thing that you do with your hands and your powders and whatever so we can get out.
There's no magic in here.
Make sense?
No.
Sareth would pipe
With
up.
a 6 in charisma, I can have a decent conversation, guys. I'm trying my best. You can't dance, but he can. He's making spores.
Well, that seems more like a biological mechanism rather than an arcane one.
I'll go to back to my corner and sleep. You're too late.
But Sareth, do you have any further insight as to the nature of drow prisons and the gods within?
Sareth kind of looks up from his generic brooding. It wasn't part of the prison system. It was strategic planner for House Kazarit. Actually, I'm sorry. Zakarit. The K is silent.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll turn away from him with it. So we have no further insight or knowledge.
However, just because I was a strategic planner does not mean that I do not know nothing.
You care to share with the class, then? We all find ourselves in an unenviable position. Perhaps your knowledge could aid us in absconding from this terrible place.
I know that the guards here are not here by choice. This is a punishment for them. Velkenvelv is laughingstock of where you are go if you do misdeeds. All of these drow here have something to prove to Loth.
Why are we here? They went through a tremendous amount of trouble to get us all to this pit, and now we're coiling rope, cooking soup. Surely they've got people around that can do that stuff without all the trouble they went through.
Because we are waiting for the patrol to come here to take us to Menzo Baranzan. Should have been here a week ago. It
What do
is
we do
not,
there?
and that is very strange.
All right. And what do we do when we get to Menzo
Baranzan,
Yes.
the city of spiders, where I resided until very recently. There you will either be sold off as slaves or sacrificed to Loth, like myself.
Well, then I guess this isn't so bad.
This is not so bad. However, you, short, smart one cowering behind Prince.
Yeah.
You are interested in the not E word.
Yes, absconding is
That
what I've
one,
taken
yes,
from
that
it.
one.
Yes.
Feel as though. What is it that you surface dwellers call it?
Freedom?
Glimmer of hope.
Ah, yes.
Perhaps this is doable? I don't know. And it just goes back to brooding.
I'd hope that it's doable. Do we know who has been here the longest? Our 13?
Yes. That would be Stool.
And he came with Sarah, right?
Apologies. That would be the deep gnomes, Topsy and Turvey. And then Stool was deposited by Sareth, who was then imprisoned the next day.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do we know about how long ago that was?
Sareth was imprisoned the day before you got here, Fetter.
So no one's been here for very long.
No, the longest anybody has been here for are Topsy and Turvey. They've been here for the better part of a fortnight, and they are looking more and more skittish each day that goes by. Like,
So they've been here about 2 weeks, and you just said the patrol was supposed to be here a week ago, so usually it's a patrol every week to pick up the slaves. Is that...
yeah, one can assume. You periodically throughout the night, before one by one people start falling asleep, they would have asked each of the recent surface dwellers about the moon, to no degrees of results really that they're looking for, regardless of how anybody answered.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Listening to everyone, will it make sense that I guess that we are overcrowding the cell?
You think that it's because the patrol is so late that the cell is overcrowded? Now the drow don't really care because you're nothing to them and you're going to be sold anyway. But this cell is really only meant for about half the number of people that are currently in it.
No, what I'm trying to get is that this is in retrospective, like me in my head.
Yeah.
I heard that everybody mentioned in conclusion that every week they take the slaves away and bring new ones. So I'm guessing that we have two groups here.
I mean, it's certainly a thought. Sareth would pipe up again, and he would say, "There is a patrol every 2 weeks or so. It is not feasible to have a patrol every week. Velkenvelv is roughly a month's journey from Menzoberranzan.
Let's say there was this glimmer. Where could we find it starting?
Shushar would pipe up at that point. Well, I know that if we can get to the Dark Lake, I can guide us all, our flock, to Slooploodop.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Slooploodop.
Right.
Bless you.
Yeah, good.
He is and like you can't quite tell if he's saying something or he's just having some sort of indigestion. He is saying
in distance. Where's the draw from me? Like in distance, how far?
It's about 10-15 feet away from you. Are you talking about the fish person?
No, the draw.
Oh, he's up against the back wall. He's kind of staying away from everyone, except for Stool. He's kind of staying closer to Stool than everyone else.
If I walk close to them, they react.
Sareth would look up at you, but he wouldn't really do anything else aside from that.
So I'm gonna ask him, how many guards are outside? You should know. You worked for them before, right?
Again, I did not work for prison guards.
Listen, the skies are blue, the valleys are green. Those details I don't mind. Are there much out or no? How many?
Seems
There
to
are
me a strategic planner would know a thing or two about guard regiments, or at least the regularity of them.
There are 19. There are 19 guards. Then there is Irvara, Shur, and Jorlan. Then Asha.
Okay, so that makes 19 bodies that we need to knock down and then 5 that we have to take care of.
I would not
So
recommend...
it's me, the big guy, and who else know how to use their hands here? No one?
Trovello glances at Prince Darendel, remembering him shredding a pillow.
He actually shies away. And he says in that Elvish that everyone can understand now because of these spores, I don't want to get violent lest I fall deeper into the madness of this form I've taken.
Not gonna get out of the madness here. You might somewhere else.
Perhaps it is...
Oh, sorry.
Perhaps it is worth trying. Let's see.
I think I pipe up and I say, actually, really quick, Chaga, have Trent actually said his name aloud yet? I don't think so. We still don't know your name. So I say, Mister, while I think it is incredibly bold to offer to fight 19 guards plus the leadership in the facility here, Velkenvelv, doing so without our arms or any items, while they are equipped with certainly poisoned crossbows and the like, seems a fool's errand. And then I look at Jimjar and I say, where did you get that coin? The rest of us have been stripped of our possessions, but you seem oddly well equipped, considering the circumstances.
I tell you what. If we get out of here, I'll tell you exactly where I keep all the stuff. And I'll bet you 10 gold that we can't.
Can't get out of here?
I get that bet.
I'll take
You're
that
on!
bet as well.
And he sticks out his hand. Yeah! Alright, now we got something. Alright, now I'm excited.
Okay, let's go. Biggie, where's the orc? Orc. Big guy, with fangs, ugly. Where are you? I'm looking.
Who
at
you want?
With me to the gate. Can we shake it?
Why?
Just shake it. Come on, here. Do as I do. Shake it.
He begrudgingly gets up because you just showed him his place. And he kind of like grabs the gate and starts shaking it, looking at you like, what's going on?
Does it move? Like,
yeah, like again, it moves almost imperceptibly, just enough to make like a tiny rattling sound. And it starts to get the attention of the guards that are in the guard tower.
Kim Jar,
Okay.
what else do you have on you?
I got, I know where to squirrel some coins away. Don't worry about it.
But is it just coins?
This is coins. Yeah, listen, I keep very close track of my debts and who owes me what.
But like tools, other items?
Just
Or
coins.
just coins?
just
Just
You
coins.
haven't the slightest notion where we might procure the rest of our equipment. I assumed you had been pilfering. Perhaps that was unfair.
Shushar would pipe up. Well, I happened to notice on the second level of the stalactite as we went in to clean and do the pillows that there was a pile of things. Weapons and armor and little packs of things. Perhaps
happen to
those
be a
were your
harmonica?
items?
You said on the second landing of the stalactite? Oh, stalactite is a hard word to say with a lisp, I'll tell you that, guy.
Yeah. Oh, it is not when we were doing the pillows, though. It was the day prior, I believe. We went in to the guard tower to clean up the mess they had made, and that's where I saw it, along with other items that they have. Probably for torture.
And just so that I'm clear, Stefan, this is in there's the one stalactite with
Yeah.
there's a floor
So-
for like torture implements and stuff, and then the bottom floor is the bedroom.
So there are two hollowed out stalactites that we're currently talking about right now. There's one that's directly across from the slave pen, and that excuse me, is the guard tower. And then underneath that, yeah, so it's the guard tower, and then underneath that has an armory, and that's what Shushar is talking about. And then the stalactite next to that, that's attached by a couple of rope bridges, that is, excuse me, that is the shrine, followed by the bedroom, followed by the other bedroom.
Gotcha.
And
what
there
Shushar
are
is
two other
suggesting-
stalactites that are here that you have to go through in order to get to either end of the cavern, but they don't lead anywhere. Like it's a cavern shelf, and it just kind of ends. And that's where like the two guard posts are on either end.
And what Shushar is suggesting is that some gear is in the stalactite directly across from us.
He saw that there were weapons, armor, and some kind of implements that were in these piles that he saw when he was cleaning. What was actually there, and if any of it belongs to you, who knows?
Sure. Okay.
I'd kind of like to scoot over to Sereth and ask, what are your thoughts on our scarred friend, Mr. Jorlan, over there?
I do not envy him. He was the chosen of Ilvara. He was meant to, but when they were out on a scouting party, routine raid to bring people back here, They were accosted by a gelatinous cube. It ate his face off. Because he is no longer able to move as well as he once did, fell out of Ilvara's favor. She has since taken up Shore as her favorite. No longer carries the wand of viscous goo, nor does he carry the whip of station. Is, for lack of a better word, errand boy.
Errand boy in a place where the elves come just to be punished, apparently.
Yes. Especially
It's a
in
shame.
our matriarchal society. Men do not have good standing.
Are Trent and Ront still going at the cage door?
Yeah, and it's at this point that one of the guards would call out, "Hey, quit that! Stop that!" You stop?
Is he close?
No, he's in the guard tower. So he's across the way in a stalactite.
I
Okay.
did hard enough.
You're going harder now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's kind of hard because while you're in the slave pen, you are all manacled in such a way where your hands are bound and the chains go up to a collar around your neck. So you can only go so far without choking yourself. But yeah, you could definitely go harder.
Just want to make more noise.
Yeah, you just want to make a lot of noise, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that you are very successfully doing that. Now, it's kind of hard to convey this amount of noise, especially with the waterfall going. It blocks a lot of other sound out. And what you're doing is a good thought experiment and a good test until one of the guards stands up, takes its crossbow, and fires at you. And we're gonna see if it hits. Yeah. So as the bolt goes in, you could feel that same feeling as when you drank that final cup before you started going woozy and just shaking a bit less. And you are unconscious with a poisoned bolt sticking into your that area right by your shoulder.
Nice.
Ront, it's like, and just backs away.
I passed out before he does that or after?
You when you passed out and Ront saw you pass out, he just kind of let go and backs away. I'm going to sleep. And he just goes up to the corner and curls up. And a lot of the others kind of take the same cue. You have no idea what time it is in here or what time of day it is, but you know you worked 8 hours today and you're all exhausted. And one by one, everyone else in your cell takes the same cue and starts bedding down for the evening, or what you assume to be the evening.
I would like to go over and try to remove the bolt safely, and then use my undergarments to try and
Okay. Yeah, patch up.
cover the wound.
Yeah, make a medicine check for me. Okay. Yeah, easily enough. The way the bolts are fashioned is that they don't have a traditional arrowhead at the front. It's just like a little nub that's meant to more effectively house poison. So you get that these weapons aren't meant for lethality more than they're meant for knocking out and making your lives very uncomfortable. And you rip off part of your pant leg and make it into a makeshift gauze and seal the wound. Your compatriot for the time being is not going to bleed out.
Do I now have a semi-functional bolt that I've pulled out of him?
You do. and it still has some poison on it. And with that, as one by one you all bed down for the evening, or whatever time it is, you are greeted with sleep and dreams. Dreams of slithering, dreams of tentacles slithering around in the dark, of suckers going on your face and then removing. Dreams of entities coming at you with a head splitting off of its current head, two heads spreading up out of its neck. You have ooze dripping down from the ceiling. You have baleful wails of masses of undead. You have dreams and dreams and dreams. That's where we'll pick up next time. It is just about 8 o'clock. I was told explicitly to make sure that we are all very comfortable in where we end. I think that we're all very comfortable in our not so pleasant dreams. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating in what is meant to be the great escape of D&D. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to meet next week as the world is opening up and people have had pre-existing plans. So we'll be meeting here again in 2 weeks, not on the 13th, but the week after, whatever day that is. Jesse God, what day is that?
20.
Please wait while God checks the calendar.
20th.
We will be coming back on Sunday, June 20th at 6 p.m.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all very much for joining in and joining us on this adventure. I'm excited and eager to see where it goes next, and if our drunk can remain sober enough.
And once again, we give a shout out to Sick Boy Art and to Tabletop Audio. And don't forget to find us at thirduniverse.com, where you can get all your D&D stuff. So much stuff. This adventure is available on our website.
Good to know.
Have a good night.